You guys want to see something cool? Hey everybody, Jared here, and today we are going to install third function hydraulics and hydraulic levers for the quick attach on the front. The instructions for this are included in the installation manual of the loader. If you are ordering this kit and installing it yourself, you may need to ask the dealer for this. It doesn't come in the kit, usually comes with the loader, and they may inadvertently hold on to it and not pass it on. So definitely going to need this installation manual, and it will walk you through it step by step. There are quite a few pieces to this kit, but one thing I really like about this kit over a generic by somebody else is it was designed for this machine, designed for my tractor, and it includes hard lines when possible. The fit and finish, everything is fantastic. So we're going to get started. Not real sure how long it's going to take, but hopefully I can get this done today. So let's jump right into it. So step one here has us removing two bottom bolts from the loader subframe, and then we are going to attach this plate, which they call the adapter stay, and that's where some of the piping and whatnot will mount to. Step three will be to attach the actual valve assembly to the subframe, and it has us put a couple orange spacers behind it. Step four is attach the adapters to the tubes and hose. Adapters meaning these are what they call bulkhead adapters. Step five, attach the tubes and hoses to the adapter stay, which was that first gray bracket we mounted. And that's how these bulkhead adapters will attach. Step 6. Attach the coupler stays to the main frame. I believe they will go like that. Step 7. Attach the hoses to the valve and the adapters as shown in the figure. Pay attention to the position of the gray taped hose, which is number 1 here. So that part of the valve, and they go to the outboard fittings up near where the quick couplers are. Step 8. Remove each bolt and raise the operator seat and lock it up with the support. Then underneath the seat, remove these two bolts in the tube. Attach the joints and retighten the bolts. Step 11 and 12 is hook up the 3 hoses for the inlet, outlet, and power beyond, and routing them down under the seat. Step 13, connect the inlet, outlet, and power beyond to the fitting bulkheads that are part of the adapter stay. Step 14, using the washers and nuts that were applied on the tractor, which I'm guessing means they're already there, right? Attach the hose guides to the tractor and clamp the hoses as shown. Now we're moving on to the wiring section. We're gonna have to remove this lever grip and some of the bolts, pull it up, disconnect the wire, and then that wire since I have hydrostat. Cigarette lighter, then we will move on to removing the bolts for the current lever grip and cutting the harness cover and boot. Next, we will assemble the boot, harness cover, and the switch, and the third grip. Tighten the band. Then we will route this wiring. We're going to have to cut an X in the rubber cap in the cab, and then pass the wiring through. This supplies power, and that's a little splitter since there's 2 functions on this, and then it's just having you connect everything up. Then it wants you to remove this plate inside the cab, which I'm not real sure why, because you have access to bring the wires up. So the next step is to modify the quick attach itself. So we have to remove the lever and pin, remove the lock nut and split pin, Last part of this step, assemble the cylinder. Now I guess we'll throw the cylinder on there, and supposed to use 2 M12 by 25 bolts with washers. Now we have to remove these plates that are part of the loader frame, and we're going to pass the spiral sleeved hoses through the whole loader frame and then back out. Then next we're going to pass the larger hoses for the third function, and they're going to come through the same holes as well. So I want to do a little recap and go over a few little tips and some gotchas I came across while installing my third function and hydraulic levers. And we'll just start here at the front, kind of work our way back. But to start, you are going to probably struggle trying to figure out what to do with these. When it is at full dump, you need quite a bit of length for those hoses. When you're at full rollback, there's a big loop hanging on the ground. So the bracket, they actually tell you to clamp it on the hoses. Mine are a little offset just because I wanted the same length here, but I had to pull them back just a little bit. Zip tied them together, gave them just a little bit of a curl, but also zip tied them right there to that top pipe so it helped hold them up. Make sure you have a tap. This is an M8 by 1.25 because you are going to want to run a tap through all of these holes. When they painted them, the holes are just gunked full of paint, so the bolts did not go in there real easy, and it was a heck of a lot easier to just use a tap to clean them out. The third function bulkhead comes capped off. This is 1/2 inch NPT, National Pipe Thread. I decided and chose to go with flat face couplers because they're a whole lot easier to keep clean and they leak less, drip less when disconnecting. I will put a link down in the description on where I purchased my couplers. When installing this bulkhead and these hoses, do not forget to put the washers on these bulkhead fittings. I did forget, so I had to break my lines, take them back off, and I obviously had fluid dripping out and everything just so I could put these washers back on. Double check all of your fittings. Leave the protective cover off of this while you start your tractor and let it run. Actuate all of your hydraulics and make sure that you don't have any leaks. I had 2 leaks here on factory connections, as well as 1 leak on 1 connection I did. These are the fittings that replace the tube that is removed. Make sure you fire up your tractor and check these for leaks prior to putting your seat down. You also have 1 more hose going vertically right there. If you purchased the hydraulic levers, install your switches in this manner. This will allow the clips for the wiring harness to be outboard and where you can get to them easier. It was difficult finding a place to run these wires. There's not much room under here because of this. This sits down pretty close, but I did find it easiest to tuck right up underneath there. There's no other room to go any other direction. And then up here, they continue on and then come over and down over there. The manual will show you that you need to cut out a notch, a pre-existing notch. You need to cut it out just a little bit more, and it'll give you directions for that. To purge all of the air out of the third function, I just have a short section of hydraulic hose and my 2 male fittings here that I will loop together between there and run my third function. That way all of the air will escape.